To the morning after the night before, that's right. As we look back at the shit show, that was Norwich City. What can we take away from it? Well, we'll talk about that next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we look back at Norwich City. That's right, the shambles. That was our last home match. Goodness gracious me. What went right, what went wrong? We'll tell you all about that in a second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe. You want subscribe for Blackburn Rovers, Championship football. Whoa, football. We're going to all here under one Rooski. That's right, earlier in the week, I sat down with the lads to talk all things Rovers. And of course, the topic of Norwich City was still hot off the agenda. What went right? Of course, well, we'll see in just 1 second. Big shout out to the members of the gang and the patrons. You know who you are. But before we take a deep dive into the weekend that was just gone, let's take a look at Eddie to talk about away days. If you're looking for away day travel, cheap, affordable stuff, Eddie's got something to talk to you about.
Thanks, Dirk. Ewan Eddie here with some news on our brand new scheme we're looking to implement in the 2025-2026 campaign. What is it? Well, it's affordable away day travel. That's right, us at Blackburn Rovers hope to implement this brand new scheme for each and every one of the away days taking place in the upcoming campaign. Right now, we're just in the planning stages and we want to know if you are interested in away day travel for the upcoming season. Now, what I need you to do now is, of course, go to this link on the screen right about now. It's a QR code, or maybe drop down in the old description to follow the URL and fill out your name and, of course, maybe some contact information that we can reach out to you when we are 100% committed. Just a reminder that this is just the planning stage of this service. Nothing is 100% as of yet. But the more numbers and the names that we get down in the next few weeks, then, of course, then we'll have the ability to make this happen for you guys. Again, looking at what's available at the moment, this does look like an affordable option if we can get the support from you guys. And again, it's just a fantastic way for you to support the channel in another way. Back to you, Dirk, in the studio.
Share that, Eddie. Thanks again for giving him a bit of your time. But let's roll back the clock and have a little talk about Norwich City and the shambles that it was. So let's talk about, yes, I'm wearing yellows. Unfortunately, it was the, I'm trying to not wear blue and white. And, well, I don't know that I've got nothing against the blue and white. I'm just mixing it up a little bit. But shambles yesterday, not what we were hoping for, but
what I'm hearing though is Ishmael was very pleased with the second half. So now I'm like, I never watched any of it, so I have no. I've got like, so.
Well, looking back at the second half, it was definitely a better performance considering we were down to 10 men. But we kind of should have had that urgency in the first half. But John T, you saw the game. What was your take? I know we got your reaction out there, but if those haven't caught that and maybe want to get more of your side of the things after a night's sleep, what's your take on it all, yesterday?
Yeah, I like that introduction after a night's sleep. I have had time to ponder. I think initially my gut feeling after the game was I was pretty good. It was embarrassing, I said on my reaction, I've been waxing lyrical about how well we've been playing, that we've had a really, really good start. We played well against West Brom, we played well against Birmingham, but we were on the wrong end. We didn't get anything from either game. But that's not, I've always said I don't mind losing. It's the manner in which we lose. And I think against both West Brom and Birmingham, we didn't deserve to lose. Hull City, we were a completely different outfit. We absolutely, I can't remember a time of recent years that we've dominated a game so well and we looked so comfortable and the passing was slick and everything like that. So, coming into yesterday, we met up with uncles and cousins in the pub before. My brother was there as well, and I've been saying how great we were and things like that. And then we go and put on that shit show, which I can't think of anything better to say. I think Ismaël was only saying that he takes a lot of pride in his players and things like that, especially after the second half performance. But for me, I think Norwich eased off the gas a little bit. Now I know some people say no, we didn't. 1-0 up, that's dangerous ground to play. But we came out with a bit more intense, but we still created very, very little. So we shouldn't be dominated like that in the first half, like we were against Norwich. No disrespect to Norwich, but they were on equal footing to us going into that game. Lost 2-1-1. But I thought they were excellent. I thought Norwich were really, really good. It was a typical Liam Manning performance. I rated him at Bristol City. And yeah, they did brilliantly well. And I think I always know when we're playing a good opposition, because I find myself just on occasions counting the number of players on the pitch, because it felt like they were, when we had 11 men, it felt like they had 12. So that's normally a testament. That's normally a toe in the water as to that we are playing a decent opposition, that we're well organised, well drilled, good slick passing, and we just couldn't get anywhere close to them. Second half, like I say, we huffed and we puffed a lot, but same old, same old. We get in front of the goal, and we don't know what to do with it, sort of thing. Or we get into the final third, and yeah, we had a couple of chances, but I think for me, it's just a contrast. I can't understand how the same starting 11 that performs so well can suddenly go from hero to zero in a matter of a week, sort of thing. I know it's different opposition and all that good stuff, but we couldn't even string 2 or 3 passes together yesterday. It was embarrassing. It was toe curling. It was like watching a car crash in slow motion, and I think that's why I'm so downbeat. And even it's not like me to dwell on something, but even I wake up the following morning and I still feel the same. So yeah, I'm still a little bit moody today, if I'm being honest. Maybe a lack of sleep. So yeah.
Well, the 10-man, the red card didn't really help us at all in that instance. Do you think if we were still 11 against 11, do you think we could have got something out of that game?
Yeah, maybe we could have. I think we were up for a big bollocking at half time. So, yeah, we might have done, but also psychologically, Norwich might have thought, we need to, carry on doing what we're doing in the first half. But we hardly got out of our half in the first half. So, it's a tough one to call. I think we couldn't have got any worse. So would we have got better in the second half? Yeah, absolutely. 11 versus 11. It was just, I guess it was just an amateur performance, and that was epitomised by the sending off. Because your man's through one goal, you don't bring him down there. It's just, it's always going to be a straight red. You're giving the referee an easy decision to make. So for me, it was just an amateur performance all the way around. So I still think we would have got beat yesterday, just because on the basis of how dominating Norwich City were. We look like we've been out on the piss the night before. We look hungover. I even said on the reaction yesterday that I think we went into the game maybe a little bit complacent, that we were suddenly world beaters because we'd got such a not only a great win away at Hull, but also the performance to match as well. But yeah, no, I think Liam Manning, very very good manager, and he'll probably get Norwich going. They'll kick on from this. I think it's just when you reflect now, 4 games in, we've lost 3. 2 of them have been at Ewood Park as well. So and I hate to say it, but that's sort of reminiscent of sort of relegation when we went down that time, albeit we went on 52 points, but all the games that were nearlies and we could have won, but we didn't win, and that's kind of relegation fodder for you. But I'm not for 1 minute saying that we'll be going to get relegated 4 games in. I think it would be stupid to say that, but based on what I've seen so far, I think it's going to be a bit of a struggling season. I still think there's going to be 3 worse teams than us, thankfully. But a lot to unfold. But it's just typical Blackburn Rovers. One week you're high as a kite, next minute you're next to Earth's core, aren't you?
Yeah, and of course now we got to sit on this for 2 weeks, and we can't really get ourselves out of this funk because we got to wait to the next one. And Denver, you didn't catch the game, but did you catch any of the highlights by chance, or what's your current take on the? Because it's been back-to-back games, same 11. I think it was same 11 that played Hull, then same 11, I think. Do you think some people may have got delusions of grandeur in that 11? A lot of people giving hype to Cargbo. That's maybe he doesn't really deserve the hype. Maybe some hype to Tavares, maybe. And again, he doesn't probably deserve the hype. What's your take on the current 11 that's featured back to back, and maybe, any obvious holes in our squad that could do with filling?
I would definitely say the squad itself. Look, I'm happy with what we brought in, and of course we've brought in another signing in Andre Johnson. But honestly, with the players that we've got, that's probably the best 11 that we had on the pitch. And what am I saying? What am I trying to say here? we've got to remember we're signing these players. These aren't the final product. They are very much in the process players. They are very much along their footballing journey, and we brought them here because there's one area of their game that's not there, or there's a reason why they're not hitting the high levels of the top divisions, but there's something there. But they've got a quality. That's a specific thing. So with Cargbo specifically, he's got pace, he's rapid, he's physical, but his decision making and in his touch can let him down. There's the same with everyone. We have all of them. Every single player in our team has that, because the second they become really good, or they become the player that we need to get out of this league, we sell them on for a profit. So that is what kind of club that we are, and they're the players that we can afford to bring in. So you've just got to remember we're in a transitional season. This is Ismaël's side. You've got to get used to this. We've got to get used to everything. It's going to be one of those seasons where, but of course, we've been spoiled for the past few seasons where we thought last season was going to be the transitional season, and we went and smashed it for the first half of the season under Eustace, and seasons prior to that, we've over exceeded our expectations, apart from the one season where we nearly went down. But I just think we've got to be realistic. Look, with the transitional season, all these new players, they've got to develop, and hopefully they develop all at enough of a rate that it will push us up the league and we win more games and we go up. But we've just got to wait and see. One player might be ready, and then we sell them on for a profit, and then we'll do the next player to develop. And that's where we are at the minute. And I was speaking to John Team when we were at Hull, like the Tavares is just a bit of, like, he needs to get used to the league. Cargbo, the same thing. He's got flaws in his game. All the players do. Cantwell, Gay, even Ohashi to a degree. So I'm happy with the squad. Am I panicking? No, I'm not. I'm not saying we're winning the league like we were at Hull, and I'm not saying we're getting relegated because we've lost to Norwich City. It's football is football, and I can see what's being trying to be done, and you've got to understand where the club is at and the process that the process of what we're trying to do. We're not going to be signing the best players in the league. We're not signing your Lewis Travises of the league, or your Ben Burtons of the league, or So you just got to remember where we are.
Yeah, and I think looking back at our start of the fixtures, it's been, three really, on paper, are tough teams. Tough teams. West Brom are always going to be tough. Birmingham with the money they got, and Norwich, they're always there. Hull, I'm glad we won that one. I'm glad we won it away.
But just remember what they were saying before they played us. They thought they were going to have a fantastic, season. They had 3 good results, 2-3 good results, and they're like, we fancy this, and then they get spanked, And that's that's the championship, but 2, that's just football fans in general. When things are good, it's the best, it's the real highs, and when everything's bad, it's the real lows. So no different to us.
No different to us whatsoever. I'm going to bring on some graphical elements here. We're going to blitz through this. It's only a little bit of, reminiscing or go down memory lane of our Norwich misery here. But this guy, of course, is, I think, the best striker in the division, Josh Sargent. And he took a penalty well, and of course he got a nice breakaway goal. But there was opportunities for Rovers in that game yesterday. And again, you bring it up, Denver, with players that have I'd say maybe faults in their game. That's why we got them. We got them in the bargain bucket bin, I'd say. We got them in the bargain bucket bin, but they've got good elements to the game, and then we got some rusty stuff. But there was point blank opportunity. Who did that land on? Was it? Well, Cargbo had one. He had a nailed on point blank thing, and he missed. And I think Hedges had an opportunity where he could have rolled back the years and done a Watford flick over them, and he could have also scored. But we're up against the best, and unfortunately they came out on top. But yeah, there he is, Cargbo having a crack at it, just cutting shy. But did anybody stand out for you? Did you, like John T, and a lot of people get a lot of heat coming out of this one? Anyone stood out for you yesterday that you think, okay, no, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel?
No, I don't think so. I think, 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 I No. In a word, no. In a word, no. No. If you ask me that about Hull, yes, there was some standout players. I thought Tavares
Mm.
had a solid game. I thought all the four across the back. It was just a wonderful performance at Hull. But anyway, that ship sailed now. We've got to look at the here and now. Categorically, no, nobody stood out for me. I guess my concern from yesterday is if Campbell is the engine room, and if he breaks down or is misfiring in a game, is that going to be what Rovers are about? Do you know what I mean? So the first half, like I say, was just really, really poor. Lots of mistakes, lots of loose passes, just couldn't get going. So I even said it after the whole game, even when my chips are high, sort of thing. But is it a case of if Cantwell isn't firing, then the whole team does? Because Tavares, he kept giving the ball away. Our usual Ribeiro left back. He's normally quite a solid player. The players that don't normally stand out for the wrong reasons stood out yesterday for the wrong reasons for me. So no, in a word, I don't think anybody, especially in the first half, did themselves any favours with the Rovers faithful. It was just a below average. We're dominated by a very decent team in terms of chances. Whilst we wax lyrical about the second half, and Ismaël was saying how good it was. Nah, it wasn't. If you could have a jaunty off the seat-ometer, I think I got off my seat once in the whole game. That's how poor it was, and that shouldn't be the case. So no, it was poor across the board. Even your reliable people, even Yuki, was very. Was just made no impact. Didn't have the same sort of zest about him that he normally does. So no, I feel like I'm really downbeat, and I am probably downbeat. It's just we're 4 games in. There's plenty of the season to go, sort of thing. But I just I think it doesn't help if I've gone by by myself and sat with all my friends and season ticket holders around me. I might not feel this bad, but I think I was just walking away from the ground with egg on the face, to the point where even at half time I was thinking I'll take 2-0 now, and that was with down to 10 men. So shouldn't be thinking like that at home against a team that started in exactly the same position as us at the start of the day. So
Dwight Dirk's wearing his yellow shirt now, isn't it? So trying to fit in with the Norwich fans.
Well, I did actually think yesterday when I was looking at the Norwich, I thought it is Norwich and not Brazil that we're playing here, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Because it was just like they were whipping the ball around, and going back to Josh Sargent. To be fair, I think by his standards he'll feel disappointed with yesterday, because he could have had 2, 3 maybe in the first half, so he missed some golden opportunities, which is unlike him. There was one that he placed well over the bar, and I just thought, well, if he's having an off day, happy days. And you know what? If we got into half time at 0-0 and with Josh Sargent not firing, then who knows? Going back to your 11-11, and obviously we wouldn't have been 1-0 down. Then we might have. It would have been a complete robbery, but at that time, but we might have gone on to win the game, because Josh Sargent just wasn't doing anything yesterday. But beaten by the better team, but I'm just glad it wasn't any more than 2.
Okay, but that ends the chunk of the season, first international break, and we walk away with 3 points. I know we all had our own dreams of 11 and 12 and whatnot, and it's a bitter pill to swallow. I'm going to hit that, guys, and appreciate you guys, of course, watching at home. Subscribe, smash the like again if you are new, and again, if you're looking for some way to contribute to the channel, we're looking for Blackburn Rovers memories. So please have a little listen to what Eddie has to say.
Hey, with Eddie back once again, but this time I don't want your money. No, I want your name, your voice, your Rovers memories. That's right. We started a social media project over on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, showcasing 150 Blackburn Rovers memories. I've asked fans from around the globe to drop their Rovers memories, but of course I need more of them. That's right. 150 is a big number, and we need some more, and that's where you come in. That's right. Whether it's the best player, best goal, best shirt, best moment in regards to Blackburn Rovers, I want to hear about it. So if you want to do that, again, follow that link. There is also one down in the description, and drop it in there. Of course, that memory will be featured over on Twitter on a day of its own, and then of course together in a master video when we drop it on November the 5th to celebrate Blackburn Rovers' 150th anniversary. So please do me a favour and drop your Rovers memory. But anyway, once again, back to Dirk to wrap up the show.
Appreciate that, Eddie. Thanks again and again. Make sure you subscribe, smash a like wherever you are in the world. Until then, we'll be back with more Rovers news later on.